As I've been speaking to a couple artists, is like a lot of these guys don't write anymore.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's gone.
like
It's a lot of punch-ins now, right?
yeah,
But no, writing for me is a therapeutic. It's really just an art form for me. I just write a lot of just my random thoughts or my ideas. I write almost everything. So when it
okay,
comes to music, it just happened to leak over into that as well. But yeah, I just enjoy writing as an expression, as an
dope.
art form.
Dope. I always like wonder like now in rap. I don't know if like it's like you're not cool if you don't like right now. You know, like
I think
it's
you
like a
only
brag
not
now.
cool if it's not tight. You
Right.
feel me? If it sucked, then yeah, it ain't cool. If it's tight, then it's cool. It's just as simple as that. You know, no
Yeah.
matter what form you do it in, if it come out dope, you dope.
Right. So what have you been thinking like now? Like you're starting to like. I know you're obviously buzzing. Like I've heard that you signed a deal. I think with Russ. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Russ. I rock with Russ, man. We had the opportunity to interview him and got to kick with him.
Dope.
So he's a dope dude, man. I rock with Russ, man. He's icy. He's icy, man. I don't know if you saw the one bracelet he's got with like 5 rows of diamonds. That was the iciest. I was like, bro, that's the iciest bracelet I ever seen. It was 5
That's wild. I didn't
crazy
see
rows.
it.
Yeah, he's got some shit.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. The numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah. So, in a sense, are you still kind of like indie, even though you're signed with him, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm hyper independent. So I haven't delivered the project that I have in the partnership with him yet. So everything you've seen up to this point, all 20 albums, all the content we create, that's just me and my team pushing that line and pushing our agenda.
Okay. What, like, I know like a lot of artists now have been like recently talking about being independent versus signing a deal, and you're seeing so many artists coming out and complaining about not being able to release music or bad contracts and not really making a lot of money. I know you've had this deal that you signed with Russ. What type of conversations have you had as far as with him? Because he's been obviously successful in the indie space that may have helped you as far as what you're doing right now.
I think it's more so just blueprint. You know, like he's done a lot of the things that I'm pursuing. So just through his groundwork and his blueprint, I've been able to see it be attainable and accomplished to where it's like, okay, this is an easy path. And Russ met me at a point as well where I was already in motion.
Right.
You know, our shit was already moving. I was already dropping. I had probably about 10 albums out already, so I was
That's
already
impressive.
in motion. So he's really just like a soundboard for me and just something I could bounce ideas off and strategy, or when I'm in those moments of doubt where I could be like, hey, when this happens, you know, what do you do in these moments? But yeah, we were already in motion. So he's kind of just in like a mentor space and just support role.
That's dope. So as an independent artist, do you feel like this is the best route for most artists to take? Do you feel like the major label deal is something that people should avoid? I'm just kind of,
I think it depends on who you are as an artist and as a human. I think some people need that infrastructure because they're not willing to do the work. You know, like some people aren't meant to be entrepreneurs. They need a 9-to-5 because they need to make sure that someone's paying them every 2 weeks. If they had to go get their own food and go hunt on their own, they wouldn't. They come back empty-handed. So I think it depends on the type of artist you are. And I also think it depends on what your grand goal, what you're building, and what you're willing to work for. Because, I mean, we all know you only get what you work for. Nothing more,
100%.
nothing less. If you don't work for it, you ain't going to get it. So it depends on what you want ultimately. I don't think label deals are bad. I think bad deals are bad. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you could find the proper partner in relationship, then it makes sense, you know. But if you can't, then, yeah, I would recommend staying independent if you're willing to work. Like, we do a lot of work. Like I said, I'm on my 20th album, and me and my team, we've shot over 500 pieces of content ourselves, our own cameras, our own audio. Learning, you know, when we do shows, we do everything ourselves. So if you're not willing to do that amount of work, then I wouldn't recommend it.
you do a lot of work. I saw you come in. You have camera with you. You got your 20 albums. Let's talk about investment. Like what type of financial investment have you been putting into your career thus far?
Man, everything. Prior to me taking on music full on, I worked in the aerospace industry, and I started doing like production work, and then I moved up to do like contract work, and I was really investing my salary. Like I was paying for my shows out of my salary, my marketing, playlist, everything that I was doing with music, equipment, cameras, lights. I was putting out of my everything. I was spending everything. I had lost my car. I got my car repossessed. I was in a position where I could have either paid my car or I could have bought presses to build my merch side of the production. And I remember my pops coming into my room, and he was like, "Man, what you want to do? You want my help? I could go help you get the car." And I was like, "Nah, I'm finna start the merch side. I'm gonna get all the production equipment." And that was a decision of me really understanding what I wanted. That was the first time it was like, yeah, this shit is hyper real, because I had a connection with the car and I loved it, and all these things that I had accumulated through work that I was starting to lose that security of like having money in my pocket and feeling comfortable, like, yeah, I'm good. Like I had to lose all that. But what I gained in exchange, now I'm in a position where I got everything back times 10.
All right, so first and foremost, I love the transparency of the story, right? I have a story I very much relate to, being where you're at, dead broke, and having to make decisions. 2017 for me, I was there, and
is this post NFL?
Post NFL. So I was in the NFL in 2006 and 7. And then I went, years of like being in the auto industry. I was a car salesperson. And then I went from the car salesperson to running a dealership. And that's where, like for me, I started realizing like most of the companies, like you can make them millions of dollars, but they really don't value you. At the time, I had just had a newborn child. I'm working, 14 plus hours a day. And I remember the paycheck they gave me for my bonus check. And I had took this store from a store that was doing literally like single digit units a month to it was the number one store in the Southeast. And, I'm listening to a call and they're like celebrating the success of, my hard work, basically, right? And I remember when the 10th comes and I get this check and it's my bonus check. And I look down at the bonus check and it was $600. And at the time, I had relocated from North Carolina to Alabama. I got a wife, newborn child. I got a mortgage that I'm still paying back in North Carolina. Obviously, new expenses that I got in Alabama, and a newborn child. And I looked down at that check, and I called my wife at the time, and I was like, "Hey, pack your shit.
Right,
we're out." And that was a day I had decided, like, hey, this is the last I'm going to let, the paycheck disrespect me. So I went on a journey of becoming like an entrepreneur and trying to do my own thing. And, you get through those points where you start having to like make decisions financially. You go from having a cushion to like, as you're trying out business and going through life, that cushion gets smaller and smaller.
Man.
And then you start making decisions. What am I going to pay? What am I not going to pay? Then you get to the point where you just can't pay anything.
I'm not paying nothing.
Yeah, it's like you just can't pay anything, and it's
right.
like, I've been there. Like I know so many people see me, where I am in current day, and they're like, man, he's got the nice cars and he's got the chains and and I'm like, bro, I was broker than you.